So, welcome to day 2 of the Spontaneous Healing Masterclass. And today is a deeper dive into the actual what you need to be doing to shift your self concept, your identity, who you believe yourself to be. Because ultimately, you're not your body, you're not your emotions, you're not your feelings. You're not a teacher. You're not a mom, a dad. You're not your name. You're not a human. You're not a human. You're the witness to this human experience. You're the witness to your body. You're the witness to your emotions. And when I say your emotions, I don't really mean that they're your emotions. So we we're trying to use language to describe something that is indescribable because who you really are is indescribable. I'll never be able to tell you who you really are. All I can do is point to who you really are. I can use pointers and point to who you really are because who you really are transcends words, transcends this third dimension, transcends the human experience. That's who you really are. You are the witness to your body. You are the witness to Karen, Andrea, Leah, Lisa. You're the witness to this character that you believe you are. Subconsciously, there's lots of attachments to this character, subconsciously. So, subconsciously, I believed myself to be not lovable, subconsciously. Now, if you would have walked up to me and said, Andrea, you have low self-worth, I would have laughed and been like, ha ha ha, no, I don't. But yeah, I did. You're right. But it was subconscious. I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't conscious of it because I was so disconnected to my body. I was so disconnected to my inner child. I didn't even know I had an inner child or what an inner child was or how to connect with my inner child. I didn't understand that my subconscious mind was creating over 95% of my reality. My subconscious mind, my inner child, the inner child is the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is developed from age 0 to 7. So I didn't realize that the program that my subconscious mind was on and was operating from was creating over 95% of my reality. So consciously, I wanted a healthy body. I wanted to heal. I wanted to be doing something that was fun, exciting. I wanted to be drawing in, attracting money. I wanted to travel. So consciously, I wanted all these things, just like we all do. We all want these basic experiences in our life, these basic things. We all, at some degree, want freedom, health, thriving, fun, adventure. But subconsciously, deep, deep, deep down inside, my subconscious mind, my inner child, was on a completely different program. My inner child just wanted my attention, just wanted my presence, just wanted me to start showing up for me, wanted me to no longer abandon myself, wanted me to no longer do something that I didn't really want to do, say yes when I really meant no, wanted my love, wanted my care. So consciously I wanted all these things, but subconsciously I was starving, depleted of my own love, my own self-care, my own presence. I wasn't in my body. So my chakras, my energy system wasn't flowing properly. My chakras were blocked. My energy centers were blocked. I had a heart wall. I had a heart wall. So I wasn't able to connect with myself. I wasn't able to become aware of the inner child. I wasn't able to relax and get into a alpha theta brainwave. I didn't have the skills, I didn't have the tools, I didn't have the knowledge to really change my self concept, to change what I believed to be true about myself, to change the relationship that I had with myself, to raise my level of consciousness, to believe in myself, to believe, to not only hold a vision, hold a image of what was possible for me, but to believe it so much that it just became who I was. I just became this loving, open-hearted, joyous person with myself first, with myself. So, and we'll go deeper into this as we go throughout this masterclass. And as a byproduct to who I became, as a byproduct to the new relationship that I had with myself, how I was talking to myself, how I saw myself, the level of consciousness that I had risen to. So no longer operating from a consciousness of lack, from a consciousness of victim, from a consciousness of it never happens to me. These things never, it's just, I'm just, I'm just not built that way. That's not who I am. It's never going to happen for me. I've tried everything. So once I abandoned that level of consciousness and reprogrammed, rewired, raised my frequency, became more energy, less matter, expanded my nervous system, really embodied this higher version of Andrea, changed the relationship with myself. There's a great book on this, by the way, by Dr. Kelly Turner. Dr. Kelly Turner. It's called Radical Remission. And she has studied thousands of radical remissions. And there's only one thing that they all have in common. Guess what that one thing is? Type it in the chat. There's only one thing that they all have in common. Type it in the chat. Guess what it is? She studied diet. She studied everything. Diet, herbs. She studied spirituality. She studied almost everything you can think of. And there was only one thing they all had in common. I love it. I love it. There's a lot of belief in here, belief that they could heal, belief in themselves, belief in higher. There's a lot of belief in here. Yes, it was a change in the relationship with themselves. So yeah, you could say they believed in themselves. You could say that. They believed in themselves. There was only one thing out of the thousands of studies. And she studied all the different things. And there was only one thing, and it was a change in the relationship with themselves. How they talk to themselves, how they see themselves, how they show up for themselves, how they love themselves, how they care for themselves, how they set boundaries, for themselves. That's a big one. That's a biggie. Boundaries. So the book is called Radical Remission by Dr. Kelly Turner. And it's actually, she's actually in the movie Healer as well. I think it's called Healer or Heal on Netflix or Gaia. So that's why I really want to hit home with this. And we basically spent all of the first one speaking to this because nothing's going to change until you change the relationship with yourself. Until you see yourself differently, until you're looking at yourself as a different character, you're changing, you're choosing. Because if I'm this infinite awareness, if I'm this infinite observer, then so I'm not my pain, right? I'm not my pain. I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my emotions. Who is the one that's suffering? Who is suffering? So if I'm not my pain, if I'm not my emotions, who is suffering? The ego. Yes, that's it. That's it. You got it. Susan says the ego. Yes, it's the ego. Now, what's the ego? What is the ego? What's the ego? Type it in the chat. The old story. Yes, the old story. The ego is a set of mind made concepts. It's a set of mind made concepts. So the ego is all the things that I've attached to, all the mind made concepts that I've attached to. And from a very young age, we start to develop this ego, especially as children. So when we're children, we're narcissists when we're children. So what that means is that I believe that everything that the whole it's me, right? So I believe it's all me. So I'll give an example here. If my Just an example, if my dad, he's having a really bad day, he's in chronic pain, he has an illness, and he throws something at me and he says a not nice thing to me. Instead of analyzing it and saying, having this judgment, this analytical process, I actually don't have that because I'm a child, so I don't have an analytical mind, so I have no judgment. So an adult would look at this and say, oh, he's in chronic pain, he has an illness. It's not that I'm bad, it's that he's in chronic pain, he has an illness, and he's having a really bad day. So it's not that I'm bad. It's not that I'm a bad girl or that I'm a bad person. That's not it. It's that he's in pain, he has an illness, he's having a really bad day. It has nothing to do with me. Now, that's an adult response. I have an analytical mind. My brain is fully developed. I have the capability to use judgment and discernment. Judgment, discernment, analytical processes. When I'm a child, my brain is not fully developed. So we don't get an analytical brain, we don't get these higher brain waves until about after age 7. So after age 7, we start going up. So we go from delta 0 to 2. In your mom's womb, you're in delta, which is pure consciousness, pure awareness. You are the universe. Then from 2 to 7, you're in theta, which is a hypnosis brainwave. So that means that there's no analytical processes, there's no judgment, discernment, there's no way of discerning, saying that there's no reasoning. There's no reasoning. It's just downloaded right into your nervous system. And it becomes your subconscious mind. It becomes your body. The body is the subconscious mind. So instead of saying or having that reasoning, the child will see an event like that and think that they're bad. So me, little Andrea, thought that it's because I'm bad. It's because I'm bad. I'm a bad person. I'm a bad girl. I'm bad. That's why my dad is doing what he's doing. And so this becomes a part of the personality or the identity, the self-concept that's being made here. And this is now an attached to aspect of self. A mind-made aspect of self. It's a mind-made aspect of self, and it becomes attached to. So now subconsciously, I'm attaching to or believing that I'm a bad girl. And this is called toxic shame. Toxic shame. Dr. Brene Brown has the best talks on toxic shame. Dr. Brene Brown, toxic shame. And how at the root of all of it, at the root of it, there's this toxic shame. So different subconscious automatic programs start to arise from this toxic shame because now what I'm doing subconsciously, right, as a little child, as a little kid, is I'm now turning into a people pleaser as a little child, as a little kid, because I'm learning that if I can please my dad, if I can be this people pleaser, if I can never be too loud, if I can hide, if I can hide, if I can get really good grades, if I can not talk back, not ask for my needs to be met, if I can not have any needs, if I can have zero needs, then I'm safe. I'm safe because my dad isn't going to have an outburst. He isn't going to throw something at me and say something mean to me and tell me that I'm XYZ. So I am safe. And this becomes these subconscious automatic programs, these ways of being that we learn in childhood become the paradigm from which I view the world. There's a great quote on this. Give me the boy and I will give you the man. That's a like a legendary quote from, I think it was like the 1800s or something, where they would say, they would practice that. They would say, give me the boy and I'll give you the man, because the man is developed, the thinking, the paradigm, the way that the world is viewed is developed mainly 0 to 7. 0 to 7. That's your subconscious mind. And it's the subconscious mind that's creating over 95% of your reality. So now, all of a sudden, here I am in my 30s, and I can't figure out why my body is uncontrollably gaining weight, even though I'm dieting, even though I'm trying to control myself, even though I'm trying all these different talk therapies, I'm taking all these supplements, I'm taking these fat burners, I'm trying to work out, like I'm trying to do all these things, and here I am hustling and grinding my little heart out. And I've always prided myself on being such a hard worker because that's what I learned when I was a child. Work hard, grind, hustle, outwork everybody. I learned all these things, and here I am just plugging away and people pleasing and abandoning myself and over giving and over caretaking and hiding, playing small, hiding, playing small, doing all the things that would keep me safe subconsciously. Subconsciously, I had no idea. And it wasn't until I learned to get into the operating system of my subconscious mind, to get into my nervous system, to connect with my inner child, connect with my subconscious mind, and to witness, to observe all the things that had been running rampant, all the ways of being that had been running rampant that no longer served me. And once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. And I started layer by layer, literally veil of consciousness by veil of consciousness, began to lift before my eyes. And I started seeing it. I started seeing how I was codependent, how I was caretaking, how I would go above and beyond for the other and would give myself the scraps or leave myself the scraps or wouldn't even show up for myself. How I would people please. I would say yes, but I really meant no. How I didn't have any boundaries. I didn't even know what a boundary was. And I started to realize I had all these different epiphanies, all these aha moments, and I'm still in it today. I still have the epiphanies today because there's layers to worthiness. There's layers to self-love. There's layers to abandonment. There's layers to self-acceptance. And the deeper I go into this work, the more my body heals, the more the muscles that I have that are coming through are mind-blowing to me. I'm not taking any supplements or anything like this. The strength, the emotional intelligence, the boundaries that I'm able to set and stick to, that's the key word. So not only can I set the boundary, but I can actually hold it and stick to it, which is a miracle for me. The way that I talk to myself. I love talking to myself. I love being my best friend, being my biggest cheerleader. The way that I spend time with my inner child and connect and we play, we dig in the dirt, we play with crystals, we go play kickball and all these fun games. Of course, my body healed. The amount of oxytocin, the amount of dopamine flooding my system on a regular basis from this new way of being, of course, my body healed. Of course, my purpose work took off. Of course, I attracted my wife that I'm now married to. Of course, we're traveling the country in a little travel trailer and having the times of our life and making an impact, serving humanity. Of course, because I changed the way I saw myself. I changed my self concept. I changed the way I view myself. I changed the way I relate to myself. The relationship with myself has completely changed. Is there anything that you feel you could not have or do or be if you truly changed the relationship with yourself? Type it in the chat. The way you talk to yourself, the way you see yourself, what you believe about yourself, how you hold yourself, how you carry yourself, how you show up for yourself. Type it in the chat. So staying present, not going back to the past. Yes, thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. We're going to dive into that next here. And the quote by Yogananda is, I could show you. I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to say it in my own words here, but it's pretty much word for word. It might not be exact word for word. I can show you that whatever you intensely believe with your mind will instantly come to pass. That's Yogananda. So I can show you whatever. And if somebody wants to Google this and type it in the chat, that would be awesome so we can get the exact quote. But it's basically whatever you intensely believe with your mind, Yogananda can show you, I can show you, will instantly come to pass. Once you're a match, you're a match. That's it. Once you're a match for your healing, your body will heal. Once you're a match for your purpose work, the purpose work will be revealed to you. The path will be revealed to you. Once you're a match for abundance, abundance will come into your reality. Once you're a match for love, your lover, your specific person will show up. Once you're a match, you're a match. That's it. You're not a linear being. You're a multidimensional being living a multidimensional life. Time does not exist. Time does not exist. Yes. Karina says, I could be abundant. Exactly. Exactly, Karina. She says, I love the Yogananda quote. Yes. Love that. Yes, Fawn. Yes. Exactly. You could be anything. You can be anything you want. You can have anything you want. I could have endless energy. Exactly. You can have, be, and do anything you want when you change the character that you're playing, when you change the ego, when you, or we could just say transcend the ego, because ultimately the whole point of you being here is to transcend the ego. That's ultimately, that's why you came here, is to realize who you really are. That's why you chose to come to Earth, is to realize who you really are. And this is the path of self-realization. I could wake up excited about every day like I did when I was a little kid. Yes. Yes. So there's a few different points here that I would like to share on, because it's about consistency. It's about becoming this new version of self. So not trying to be happy, not trying to be fun or abundant or loving. I'm going to try to have positive self-talk. I'm going to try to, so let's eliminate all the trying. Let's eliminate all the should. So I should be happy. I should be grateful. I should be appreciative. Let's remove all of that, the trying, the shoulds, have tos, needs tos. And let's go deeper here. Let's transcend the ego here and show up as that version of self. So how do I show up as that version of self? So I'm no longer trying, should, have to, need to. I really want to heal my body, so I can't think those thoughts anymore. And then you just keep thinking those thoughts, or you're in it and then you're out of it. You're holding on to it and then you fall out of it. I really struggled with this in the beginning, so I understand this and I get this. The way to become the match to the version of you that's healed is to relax into it, is to surrender into it. So it's not trying, it's not should, need to, have to. We're eliminating all of that and we're relaxing, we're surrendering into that version of self. And how you surrender into that version of self or relax into that version of self is by step number one. You can switch these in different orders. It doesn't necessarily have to be in this order, but all these steps, in my opinion, must be done. They must be done consistently, persistently, sincerely, and there must be a refinement and mastery over your lifetime with each step. This is about evolution and expansion over a lifetime, because there's always another higher version of you. So the first thing here is we need to unprogram, deprogram all the subconscious automatic programs that are running in the back that are keeping you or blocking you, that are, we could say blocking you from your healing. So you're probably aware of some of these subconscious automatic programs already. Could be people pleasing, could be hiding, could be playing small, could be shame, guilt. Maybe you own a business and there's shame and guilt around selling. There's shame and guilt around asking for your needs to be met, selling. Could be could be an addiction. Maybe there's some addictions here. Type it in the chat, whatever you're aware of that is a if you feel called to share. If you don't want to share, don't type it in the chat. Type it in there. What are you aware of now in this moment that you know is blocking you from your healing? So for me, I knew that obviously the addictions were blocking me from my healing. And I also knew that I was abandoning myself. I knew that. I was aware of that. So type it in the chat. So smoking cigarettes, selling, asking for help, hiding. So here's the interesting thing about timelines is you're always connected to your higher self. You're always connected to the universe, God, Buddha, whatever you want to call it, Krishna. You're never not connected. But when we do these things like hiding, so if I'm hiding, right? If I'm hiding, or if I'm abandoning myself, or if I'm people pleasing, or if I'm trying to soothe myself with an outside substance. So for me, it was food. So I would eat all this food and try to soothe myself, soothe anxiety, soothe overwhelm. And I also used it to feel pleasure. Then what that's doing is there's a few things happening here. One thing it's doing is it's creating like a false something above you. So I'm giving my power away to food. So I'm putting food on a pedestal and I'm using food to soothe myself. So in a sense, the food has become like a god to me, in a sense. It's become a higher power, right? So the food, I'm using it to soothe myself. I'm using it to calm down. I'm using it to get pleasure. It's become, in a sense, my higher power. And what's the first commandment in the Bible? Thou shalt not have a higher power. And I like to share that because there's a really great spiritual teacher who teaches this. His name is Muji. And I love how he said that. That just struck a chord with me. It's like, oh wow, yeah, that's the first thing is don't have a higher power. Don't put something above you or use something or that's your higher power, because that's like a deep abandonment of self. It's giving your power away. It's not realizing who you are. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing with these. Yes, you shall have no other gods before me. Thank you. Thank you, Leah. Thank you. I'm going to screenshot that. And I'm not religious, so I'm careful with the way that I share about this and the way that I talk about it, because I'm not religious or anything like this. But it just made so much sense to me when I heard that. And this is coming from another spiritual teacher who is also not religious. His name is Muji. Yes. So anything that I may have placed above me. So let's really look at this. If I'm hiding, if I'm playing small, if I'm afraid to ask for my needs to be met, if I'm afraid to sell my products, my services, what might be placed above me? So what might I be making my God if I'm doing these things? If I'm hiding, I'm afraid. Oh my gosh, I can't ask for my cell because they're going to think XYZ. What if they say no? Am I greedy? Am I asking for too much? Yes, you're placing other people's opinions and status quo above you. You got it, Leah. You're there, they've become your higher power. That person has become your higher power because their opinion is higher than your own opinion about you and your services, about you and how you show up, about you and the way you see yourself, what you believe about yourself, how you hold yourself. It controls you. Exactly, Lisa. It controls you. Exactly. Anything that's controlling you, anything that's your higher power, that's a false higher power, is that serving you? Is that serving you? No, it's not. And it's blocking you from your higher self. It's blocking you from the healed version of you. It's literally blocking it. So all of a sudden, there's all this, and you know that subconsciously, deep, deep, deep down inside, you know it. You know that you're not meant to hide. You know that you're not meant to use something outside of you to soothe yourself. You know that you're not meant to, for me, it was food, it was sex, it was codependency. I knew that that wasn't serving me. So it creates a deep guilt and shame from within. And your inner child is always watching you like, what are you doing? Like, this isn't who we are, because your inner child is your higher self. The inner child is your higher self. They're always watching you. They don't sleep. And there's this dis-ease in the body, which turns into dis-ease. So all of a sudden, I started gaining all this weight. All of a sudden, my back was so painful that I couldn't sleep at night. I had to go to physical therapy. All of a sudden, my cholesterol was through the roof. All of a sudden, all these weird things started happening. I started getting these weird, like, rashes on my body out of nowhere. Just very strange things that didn't make any sense. So the body is a blessing. The disease, the illness, the symptom is a blessing, because how would I know, or how would I know where to look if I didn't have these symptoms? So the symptoms, the crisis, woke me up and said, hey, like, I've got to start doing something different here. I have to approach this in a different way. I have to be different. I can't keep doing it the way that I've been doing it my entire life. So I learned, I sat with myself and I learned, and I took myself through step by step, level by level, brainwave by brainwave. And I trained myself to get into these altered states of consciousness to see what was going on in my subconscious mind, what was going on with my inner child, what were the beliefs, what were the subconscious automatic programs, what was I doing, what was I saying, what was I thinking, how was I being, that was blocking myself from my natural, healed, healthy, thriving, abundant body and life. Because that's the normal, that's your normal state of being. That's normal. It's not normal to be in lack. It's not normal to be in disease. That's not normal. So the first thing is deprogramming the program. Deprogramming the program. We've got to become aware. You've got to be able to see it. Then you must deprogram it through meditation, through breath work, using the breath to clear it out, to transmute the energy that's keeping it alive, alchemize the energy that's keeping it alive, expand the nervous system. So take the nervous system into deeper layers and levels of expansion. connecting with the inner child and listening. This is huge. Connecting and listening, not trying to fix, not trying to heal, not trying to correct or not trying to do anything. We're eliminating those words. We're eliminating trying, need to, should, have to, listening, being present, feeling, sensing, receiving the messages in an altered state of consciousness from the inner child. When you get the downloads, which you will, so when we do these practices, when we do these exercises, these processes, these tools, you'll get what's called downloads. Downloads are knowings. The mind thinks, so the brain thinks, the analytical mind thinks, and the body knows. The body knows. Right now in this moment, you know exactly what you need to do to heal. Right now in this moment, you know exactly what it is. You know exactly what you need to do. You know where you need to go. If you need to go somewhere, you know what you need to say, what you need to not say. You know how you need to talk to yourself. You know how you need to show up for yourself. You know exactly what it is in this moment. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Because you have all the answers. You know what it is. You know why it's here. You know what lesson is trying to be shared or learned. You know how to transmute it. You know how to heal it, release it. You know how to get to your next income level in your business, in your love life, in your relationships, more connection, more wholeness. You know exactly what to do. And if you can hear it, what are the emotions? What are the thoughts? What are the beliefs that are keeping you from taking that aligned, inspired action? Aligned, inspired action. So type it in the chat. What do you need to do to heal? Type it in the chat. And if you don't know, that's okay. But I would like to see how many people are already aware of what they need to do to heal. Type it in the chat because odds are you probably already know. That's the truth is you probably already know. I knew exactly what it was for me, but there was so much fear around it. There was so much fear, guilt, shame around it that I didn't do it. Be here for myself. Thank you, Karina, for sharing. I love this share. I refuse to use crutches and allow my own light to shine without needing anything exterior. Help me be me. I love that. Thank you for sharing. I need to be more consistent and deep with all my self-care routine. Also need to end my relationship. Oh, that was the one for me, Leah. That was it. She just nailed it. I knew that I needed to. Yes. And I just had so much fear around it. Deep, 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 deep fear of abandonment. Be here for myself. I know I need to change. No need. I know I need to change parts of me. Don't want to. Yes. Just be. I only need to believe, really, really believe that's I can go to have it all. Mm-hmm. Yes, you guys are in it. You're in it. So there's a fear here. There's a fear. And for me, it was a big fear. The unknown. The unknown. So when you're doing these exercises, when you're deprogramming yourself, when you're reparenting yourself, connecting with your inner child, expanding your nervous system, becoming more energy, raising your frequency, raising your level of consciousness. So meditation, breath work, nervous system regulation work, chakra or energy healing, aura cleansing, all these different tools, exercises, and practices, they all start to do one thing. They all start to dissolve fear because it's dissolving the ego. You're dissolving the ego, and the ego feeds off of one major thing. Guess what that one major thing is that the ego, the past self, feeds off of? There's one major thing the past self feeds off of. And guess what that is? Fear. Yes, that's it. Lisa nailed it. Fear. Yes, that's it. So the past self, the ego, feeds and thrives and grows off of fear. So when we're doing these practices, these exercises, these tools, and becoming a different version of self subconsciously, nervous system wise, frequency wise, energetically, and showing up as this new character. And I don't know if character is the right word. You're showing up maybe more present. You're showing up more present, more in your authentic self. You're showing up more as your inner child, right? So you're returning home. You're coming back to home. You're returning back to your authentic self, who you really are in your heart, which is your inner child. The inner child is the higher self. So loving, excited, present, playful, joyous. The fear dissolves. The ego, the past self dissolves. And it's not going to just let you walk free. It's not going to just let you go play and have fun and be joy. No. You're going to have to be consistent. You're going to have to be persistent. You're going to have to be sincere with yourself, vulnerable with yourself. You must refine and master the practices. It's not, oh, I did it once or I took this one course and I'm good. No, it's a constant evolution and expansion over a lifetime. It's a constant evolution and expansion over a lifetime. So it's falling in love with the actual journey, falling in love with the actual work, the actual practices, processes, and committing to yourself over a lifetime of expansion and evolution. So it's a commitment to self over a lifetime of expansion and evolution. Yes. So you're showing up as your inner child. Exactly. Exactly. So let's go ahead and dive into our practice for today. And we're just going to connect with our subconscious mind, the inner child today. And we're going to listen to what it has to say. So we're not going to try to fix it. We're not going to try to heal it. We're not going to try to fix you or heal you. We're just going to listen, be present with what is, and connect. Connect. The paradox is that when we connect, when we're deeply present with what is, that is unconditional love. And it's unconditional love that transcends the third dimension. It's the fastest frequency. It actually leaves this third dimension, unconditional love. And that's Albert Einstein, who shares a lot on that. Albert Einstein shares a lot about love and the universe being love and how love transcends this third dimension because it's the fastest frequency. So the paradox is that when we listen, when we surrender, when we validate and accept what is, no longer trying to fix, change, the body experiences a very fast frequency called unconditional love. And this begins the transmutation process. This starts to transcend the ego, the past self. So let's do some deep inhales, deep exhales, and I'm just going to go back and forth, side to side. And this little bit of a sway back and forth, side to side, starts processing emotions in the body. So if there's some tension, if there's maybe some anxiety, stress, million things to do, or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe there's some depression. Maybe there's tiredness, sluggishness. This processes and moves energy. Mouth closed, deep inhales, deep exhales, all through the nostrils, oxygenating both hemispheres of the brain. Chin slightly down. This engages the parasympathetic nervous system. This is rest and relax nervous system. And your inhales should be long, slow, and deep. So we're looking at I like to say 7 seconds. 7 seconds in, 7 seconds out. If you can go longer, go longer. You want an equal inhale and an equal exhale. If you can't do 7 seconds, that's okay. Do your best. Your best is enough. So these slow inhales, slow exhales, chin slightly down. It's rocking side to side. And if you want, you can even rotate your eyeballs up 15 degrees. This will ensure that you're going into an alpha brainwave. This is where the inner world becomes more real than the outer world. And this is where the nervous system goes into a state of safety, security. You become resourceful, you become creative, and you can start to see things and sense things that you just don't have access to in a beta brainwave. When we're in a beta brainwave, that's when the voice in the head is active. It's in a beta brainwave. When we slow the brainwaves down to alpha, theta, that front part of the brain starts to quiet down and the voice dissolves. The ego, the past self starts to dissolve. Slowly bring yourself to a seated center position, spine straight, chin slightly down. If you want to rotate your eyeballs up 15 degrees, that will ensure that you stay in an alpha brainwave. Bring your hands to your heart. Your hands have the most sensory receptor sites for energy. So your hands can sense and feel energy very easily. Feel the energy around your heart. Sense it as you inhale through your heart to your brain. There's a natural toroidal field around the heart. There's a natural energy field around the heart that starts to expand when we go into these altered states of consciousness. Deep inhales through your heart to your brain. And imagine that you're sensing that warmth, electricity tingling around your heart as you inhale through your heart to your brain. Your hands might be getting hotter. You might feel like little tinglies on your hands, like an electricity. Whatever you're sensing, whatever you're feeling, inhale that sensation, that energy with your intention. Inhale that sensation through your heart to your brain, amplifying the energy. So if you're feeling tingling, if you're feeling a little bit of heat, if you're feeling aliveness, amplify it with each inhale through your heart to your brain. Focusing on the inner world, less on the outer world, takes the brainwaves into deeper levels of alpha, even theta. Sense, connect to your heart. Without breaking your state, ask your heart. Your heart is a type of a brain. Your heart does have neurites, which are just like neurons. Your heart makes choices, holds memory, remembers things, has knowings. Your heart is a type of a brain. It has over 60,000 more connections, heart to brain, than brain to heart. It's 100,000 times stronger electrically and 5,000 times stronger magnetically. Your heart is the leader of your life. It's meant to be the leader. And the analytical mind, the ego, is meant to be the servant to the heart. So ask your heart, just like you would your regular brain. So say it right out loud to your heart. What do you need me to see? What do you want to show me? What do I need in this moment? Without breaking your state, type in the chat whatever knowing you received without breaking your state. You could have received a sensation, a deep knowing, color, symbol. We've got some phenomenal answers coming through. Take action on the guidance. Thank you for sharing, Leah. Lisa says love. Karina says unconditional love. Follow my instincts in the moment, in the now, always in the now. Without breaking your state, how can you love yourself, show yourself more love? How can you take aligned, inspired action on your guidance? How can you give yourself more unconditional love without breaking your state? Share with your heart. Your heart is the portal to the inner child. Share with your heart brain how you're going to give yourself more love, more unconditional love, take more action on your guidance, whatever came through for you without breaking your state. Stop smoking, be more present with myself, eat less sugar. Since December, sugar has been increasing slowly. So things are coming through. These are called downloads. These are called transmissions, downloads. All the answers are within you. It's being able to hear those answers, embody those answers. Trust and surrender. Thank you, Karina. I'm going to let go of control and surrender to the unknown. Thank you, Leah. So my challenge and stretch for you today is to go do that thing now in this moment. So how can you do it now in this moment? And what happens is these moments start to compound. And moment by moment, you start being your future self. You start living, thinking, feeling, acting as your future self. And what will happen here is you're going to end up on a new timeline. There's no future. So you switch, you just parallel. It's a parallel universe. All timelines are parallel to each other, and you switch to that timeline in the skin condition. Well, for me, it was my spine. It was the weight. It was the high cholesterol. It was the unworthiness, the emotional healing, the emotional healing of unworthiness, of confidence, no longer hiding, shining my light, getting out there, having fun, asking for my needs to be met, not from a place of shame or guilt, but from a place of I'm worthy, and I'm lovable, even if you say no. It doesn't change how I feel about me. It doesn't change the fact that I'm worthy and lovable as I am in this now moment, because I am. So Healer is open. We've got some people already in. Lisa is one of those people. Congratulations, Lisa. If you're wanting to really embody this work and take it to the next level and imagine watching your body heal, imagine watching your emotional state heal, imagine being able to do this with others, give this to others. Maybe you take it into your own business. Maybe you take it to schools. Maybe you take it to your family. Imagine being able to be the one, and then gift it to others. Healer is for you. The pre-sale is officially open. Leah is also in it. Leah's in it. She's my private client, so she's automatically in it. And we also have, trying to see who else is here that is going to be in it. I'm doing something really special as well. If you would like to join us in the Quantum Field membership, you will be able to access Healer for a even more discounted special rate. So reach out to me, message me. Right now, the pre-sale is officially open for $444 for the whole experience, which is a awesome, no-brainer deal. It's phenomenal. It's one of the best programs I've ever downloaded that was ever it came through. I literally downloaded it from my higher self, the Quantum Field. It came through and we had phenomenal results, phenomenal success with the last one. So many testimonies, so many transformations that I just knew, okay, this is going to be another signature program. This is another one of my signature programs. So you're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be absolutely epic, phenomenal. You're going to walk away a completely different person. And if you're different, your reality will be different. Reality is just a mirror of you pushed out. So message me, sign up, and I will see you in Healer. If not, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. I loved our time together, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.